Daniel Suarez apologizes to his fans. Brad Keselowski chimes in on Buescher versus Reddick and introduces RFK's newest driver. How's it going, y'all? My name is Eric. Welcome to Out of the Groove. So much to get to today, including some juicy, silly season rumors. But first, this episode is sponsored by PristineAuction.com. They are the most trusted sports memorabilia and collections auction site. Auctions on PristineAuction.com start at just $1, and each day, thousands of signed items are available, so you win signed, authentic signatures at affordable prices. Every item on PristineAuction.com comes with a certificate of authenticity from the industry's most reputable authenticators. PristineAuction.com is your one-stop shop for NASCAR memorabilia, collectibles, and so much more. Be sure to check out Pristine Auction Marketplace and follow them on social media so you don't miss out on any great content coming out here in the month of May. Upgrade your collection today and get $10 off your first purchase when you use registration code ERIC, E-R-I-C. You can click the top link down in the description below. Again, that's registration code ERIC for $10 off your first order at PristineAuction.com. I believe in NASCAR, there is a fine line between being a clean, fair, respectful driver and being a doormat. Back-to-back weeks, Kansas, Darlington, back-to-back brutal losses for Chris Buescher. His team owner and teammate, Brad Keselowski, was asked Sunday night by reporter Bob Pockrass if he believes Chris Buescher needs to change his style, be a little less polite on the racetrack. Here's what Brad Keselowski said.
You know, Chris has his style, and it's worked really, really well for him. I don't think Chris needs to change a darn thing about what he does. It might not have worked out today, but there's other days where it works for him and makes him what he is. It makes him special, makes him good. Chris isn't sitting in front of me now, but I would tell him, just keep being Chris. Keep doing what you do.
Slightly off topic, but Keselowski also confirmed in this press conference that Chris Buescher is under contract beyond this year. That was a question mark coming into this season, although I don't think anyone thought that seat was truly up for grabs. But back to the topic at hand, Chris Buescher is really good. He won an Xfinity Series championship, 9 years ago? He's experienced life at the back of the Cup Series pack. He's experienced life in the middle of the Hornet's nest. And now he's up front. He's won 4 Cup races since the next-gen car was introduced. Think about it. He's got the same number of next-gen wins as Kyle Busch. He actually has more wins in this car than Ryan Blaney. So I agree with Brad Keselowski that Chris Buescher does not need to change. But this is what I said at the beginning. There is a fine line in NASCAR between being fair and respectful and being so clean that drivers take advantage of you. Generally, I think you want to be known as a clean, respectful racer. Sure, drivers like Joey Logano, Ross Chastain, maybe a few others are going to race you extremely aggressively, but that's just because they race everyone extremely aggressively at all times. But if you're respectful, most Cup Series drivers will race you respectfully in return. A great example would be Michigan last summer. Chris Buescher holding off Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. had numerous opportunities to run Buescher out of the groove, squeeze him up into the fence, but he never did. Part of that is because Martin Truex Jr. is a very clean, respectful racer, but another part is that he knows Chris Buescher would race him the same way. They raced each other hard but fair, and Chris Buescher held on to win that race. Sure, it stinks that Kyle Larson doored you at the end of the Kansas race, but you lost by this much. It stinks that Tyler Reddick bonsai'd into turn 3 and took you out at Darlington. But I agree with Brad Keselowski. I don't think Chris Buescher needs to change a thing. He's 31 years old. He's been racing full-time in the NASCAR Cup Series now for 8 years. He's won multiple races recently and made a deep playoff run. He doesn't need to change. I actually think Chris Buescher handled post-race Sunday really, really well. He was imposing, assertive. He got Tyler Reddick to apologize straight up immediately. Most drivers would make some sort of excuse, but Chris Buescher has the respect of the garage. Tyler Reddick immediately apologized. I effed up. I would not change anything if I was Chris Buescher. Don't try to overstep and be someone you're not. It's okay to remember the score, but approach things on a case-by-case basis. I don't think it's in Chris Buescher's DNA to start squeezing everyone, sliding everyone, bumping guys out of the way every chance. That's not Chris Buescher, and the Chris Buescher we've seen the past couple of years is legit. I think it pays in the long run to be known as a clean, respectful racer. I think it's worked for Chris Buescher up to this point. Do not change a thing. Now, while we're on the topic of RFK Racing, this morning they announced a brand new driver will be joining their team. Been rumored for a while now, but now it's official that Cam Waters, the Australian Supercars driver, will drive the Stage 60 Cup Series entry at Sonoma Raceway next month. This was first reported on back during the off-season, then things kind of fizzled out, gained steam recently. Waters has made a couple of Truck Series starts this year in Ford F-150 equipment. He was 19th at Kansas a couple weeks ago. Now he'll make his NASCAR Cup Series debut at a road course. Good luck to him. Chris Buescher's had a couple decent runs in recent seasons, but overall I do not consider RFK to be a strong road course company at this moment. Actually, you know what? Maybe I'm selling RFK short. Keselowski's been terrible, but Buescher's been pretty darn consistent at road courses, just not leading laps. So maybe a top 10, top 15 for Cam Waters. He's doing Sonoma. You gotta wonder if the Chicago street race is also in the cards after what Shane Van Gisbergen did last year. Anyway, moving on from RFK, let's talk Trackhouse, beginning with Daniel Suarez. Another frustrating race this past weekend, running and finishing outside of the top 20. Sunday night, Daniel Suarez posted a heartfelt video message apologizing to his fans.
Frustration is an understatement. It's been difficult, It's been difficult. I would say that for a good part of maybe a month and a half ago, maybe we were trying some different stuff, but right now we are just struggling. We're just struggling a lot. We don't have a lot of speed. It doesn't really matter how the balance of the car is. We're just slow. I want to apologize to all the fans, to all the Daniel's amigos out there that come to support me, all those Mexican flags. I hate to run like this. I don't race, I don't compete, and I don't work so hard every single day of the week to run 25th to 30th. That's not me.
You can see it, hear it. Daniel has been on the struggle bus in recent weeks. You go back to the start of this year, obviously he won Atlanta, which is great, kind of masks all these struggles because he'll be in the playoffs. But even after Atlanta, had a couple of top 15 runs, looked decent. It's been downhill ever since. If you start with Circuit of the Americas, which I think was disappointing. Suarez is a good road racer. He did not qualify well at COTA. I think he had a speeding penalty in that race, finished outside the top 30. Start with COTA. Huge disappointment. Daniel Suarez's average finish is 21.8 the last 8 races. He has one standout run. It was Texas Motor Speedway, finished 5th. If we take that out, Suarez's average finish is 24th. This topic kind of bleeds into silly season. When Daniel Suarez won Atlanta, I think we all believed his seat had cooled off. But these recent struggles, combined with the news that Zane Smith is leaving Spire, he needs a seat at Trackhouse supposedly, have me wondering if Daniel Suarez's seat is warming up once again. I know team owner Justin Marks has assured us time and time again that Daniel Suarez is a Trackhouse driver. Does that necessarily mean Cup? Trackhouse has not just Zane Smith, but we mentioned him a moment ago, Shane Van Gisbergen under contract. SVG's goal is to go Cup Series racing. I'm not sure that he's ready, but can Trackhouse find room? Can they feed all these mouths? I like Daniel Suarez a ton, but it has been a struggle this year. In his defense, Trackhouse is not the team we thought they were. Go back to 2022, y'all. Trackhouse burst onto the scene. Suarez won a race. Chastain won 2 races, finished second in the points. Trackhouse went from being the most interesting team in NASCAR, as I dubbed them, to the most impressive team in NASCAR. Then 2023 happened. Chastain still won 2 races. Suarez missed the playoffs. They clearly took a small step backwards, no doubt. Now here we are in 2024, and it looks like both drivers will make the playoffs, again, thanks to Suarez's photo finish victory at Atlanta, but the overall performance continues to decline. Can you believe that both Suarez and Chastain only have 1 top 5 finish this year each? That is not the Trackhouse team that many fell in love with over the past 2 years. So where do they go from here? They brought a new crew chief in to work with Suarez this year. Hard to say that's been a huge success, Matt Swiderski. Now there are rumors that Trackhouse is going to merge with Kaulig Racing. These rumors have been out there for a while now, but now you've got Door Bumper Clear, Brett Griffin saying this week.
Hey, Chris Rice is going to be on here in 2 weeks, and when he's sitting right here where Butterbean's sitting, I'm going to flat out ask him, are you merging with Trackhouse?
Yeah.
So he better be ready for that.
Honestly, that kind of news would probably take Daniel Suarez off the hot seat, because if Trackhouse and Kaulig merge, suddenly Trackhouse has 4 charters effectively, and no disrespect to Daniel Hemrick, he's actually had some good results recently. My guess is they would put, obviously, Chastain, probably Suarez, and then SVG and Zane Smith in those 4 seats. The 16 doesn't have a full-time driver, it would go away, and Daniel Hemrick, my guess, would move back to the Xfinity Series where he's had the most success and could continue to contend for wins and potentially a second championship. Trackhouse, Kaulig merging. I think it makes a ton of sense for Kaulig Racing. They just don't have the speed on the Cup Series side. It makes sense for Trackhouse in the sense that they've got 4, really 5 drivers, if you include Connor Zilic, under contract. They need seats. Kaulig can give them seats. So in that respect, logistically speaking, it makes sense for Trackhouse, but we just talked about Trackhouse's struggles on the racetrack. Is now the best time to be expanding effectively? Probably not, but hey, things don't always time out exactly the way you want them to. This is a very interesting rumor. It solves some problems for Trackhouse, could create new ones. What do you make of Trackhouse's recent performance? Do you think merging with Kaulig is the right business decision? Will that improve their performance? Trackhouse was blazing hot, meteoric rise. It has cooled off. I guess it was always going to. There was no way that sort of trajectory was sustainable, but what do you make of this team right here and now? Let me know down in the comment section below. That's going to do it for this episode, y'all. Leave a like if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. We talk NASCAR every single day. There's been so much going on in the world of stock car racing recently. We can't miss a moment. And thank you to my Patreon supporters as well. If you missed yesterday's video, head to my channel. You can see my recap of the thrilling Darlington finish, the big news yesterday, plus my power rankings. We've got more to come this week. Hope to see you again soon. Have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday, folks.